Hello, everyone, and now welcome to Game 4. Interestingly enough, the final game in this Best of 5 series, as we are now all tied up at 2 games apiece. This is Best of 5 Extended Series, has coming in with a 1-0 lead. Now quickly fell behind 2-1, only to play an amazing game on Achillean Waste to tie up the series at 2 games apiece as we now move in here. Now, AK has spawned as the red Zerg on the bottom right hand side of the map. Meanwhile, has spawned as the blue Protoss. Protoss versus Zerg here on Belshir Vestige. Looking forward to this map and this game. Looking forward to what these players will bring forth, as I'm sure both of these players have really stepped up their games now. Has playing a very strong game 5, or excuse me, game 3, the previous game. And AK, I think, not aggressive enough in terms of his expansions. He let Has catch up and run even on bases for far too long, and he really never had an answer to those Void Rays. Achillean Waste, a perfect map for Sky Toss because of the number of cliffs and the difficulty the Hydralisks have in order to get underneath those Void Rays. Once we saw the transition into Broodlords, and then we saw the instantaneous production of Tempest, I had pretty much had seen a foregone conclusion that those Broodlords would be absolutely useless. The first round, the first volley of attacks from those Tempests and those expensive Broodlords would pretty much be shot out of the sky, and that is what happened there, forcing an engagement since those Broodlords do move ever so slow. As soon as you are trying to retreat with Broodlords, especially against a unit that has a range of 15, you know things are going to be going from bad to worse, as the Void Rays and everything else was able to clean up beautiful attacks across the center. And pretty much that's where we are now, as has evened up the series. Coming over on the bottom right, we can see that there is no spawning pool there's a spawning pool. There's a spawning pool well on its way. There's the hatchery now, and this is going to be your standard, your standard pool hatch. Now, I am interested to know whether or not we'll see a third base before the 6-minute mark. We've seen AK actually venture forth and do that pretty consistently in the previous games, and I wouldn't be surprised if he did it again. But this third base is rather far. You can see that the walking distance is actually exposes you much more than, say, it would on Achillean Waste, or it just feels that way since you got to walk outside your choke point here and then go out this extra area here. It exposes you to another route of attack as opposed to just coming down the ramp and trying to guard at the bottom of your ramp on Achillean Waste. Has gone into that Mothership Core expansion. This time around, though, getting the Mothership Core before getting the Nexus, knowing that the early Zerglings that we saw in the previous game were quite a handful. The Zerglings are now going to come inside here, but the Mothership Core is already there. At the most, we will see a cancellation on that one particular pylon. Oh, one more shot there. Not enough, as the Zerglings are able to back away. I was going to say both sides with even losses. 25 resources lost for a Zergling, 25 resources lost for a cancelled pylon. Now, what is Has looking to do? Has is just putting forth the pressure again. The Mothership Core still holding onto its position at that front door and challenging any Zerglings to try and sneak inside. No Zerglings will be able to sneak inside, as we now see a probe doing a bit of scouting. This is an actual unusual position for the probe to be in. The Overlord the Overlord actually sees the probe, but the probe doesn't see the Overlord, so little does he know how much of a dangerous situation and spot he is in. Alright, so the Zerglings catching that right there. A little bit of bad luck for Has, as I'm sure Has wanted to perhaps set up a proxy pylon off here, and now will be forced to pull another probe off the minerals in order to make his play. There are those gateways now. You can see warp gate tech is about to be completed. This could be a 3-gate push. Not quite sure if I've seen a 3-gate push in quite some time. A 3-gate, 4-gate push. Perhaps the robotics facility is going to be coming in. No, this is going to be a Stargate, as we're now looking to see what this probe is going to be doing here. I haven't... Oh, there's the proxy pylon now down on the low ground. Not quite sure why you wouldn't hide it up on the high ground a bit more, as the Zerglings will be able to sneak by. Probes now trying to run away. Where are they going to go? Mothership Core is nearby the Xel'Naga Tower, unable to protect back at home, and the Zerglings will pretty much run rabid inside the base again. However, the Warp Gate tech is nearing completion, meaning that Zealots will be able to warp their way into the field. Another probe now taken down, as the Stalker is going to be giving a little bit of chase to finish off the rest of these Zerglings. Oracle now making its way out as well, as one lone Zergling could end up just getting taken down in a moment's notice. Alright, this is the Zealot Mothership Core pressure that we saw in the previous game. Hello, Select. Mothership Core Zealot units that we saw in the previous game, but there is already Double Queen and now a Spine Crawler on the front. This Mothership Core is not going to be able to do much at all, and the units are already pulling back. These gateways not really helping out, as the Oracle, now making its way down across the map. Oracle should be able to get in here in just a second. The Zerglings now running around the far side. What is going to be happening next? You can see that there is the forge and that pylon here on that front door. And we are just still sitting at a Stalker here to try to hold off the masses. This front door is going to be a little bit of a strange situation. The Zerglings could, in fact, take down this warp gate. This is actually a really, really odd situation here, as a new unit is going to be warped in. All right, another Zealot now pushing in through. Are we going to see perhaps a force field down? No, the warp gate is still plenty of hit points away from being destroyed. 296, that additional 1 armor on the actual hit points helping out a bit there, as the Zerglings now backing off. We are getting an expansion finally up at the 8-minute 45-second mark, and this is a decent timing on this map. It is a little bit late, but I really feel like yoeIMHas could have come in with heavy pressure, and AK just didn't want to risk it. He didn't want to risk that earlier pressure, as we're now taking a look at what yoeIMHas can do with a low mana or low energy Oracle. Not very much, it seems, as he's going to be scouting out and spot this expansion over here. Coming back around, Oracle with a very, very fast movement speed. What is this Oracle hoping to do? It wants to get worker kills, but he is still currently behind. 15 supply down, as we are now looking at yoeIMHas cleaning up the skies and taking down overlords. yoeIMHas going back to the Void Rays as he did in the previous game, but we already see a much earlier Spire this time around than what we saw in previous games. We are going to see now the Oracle look to come in. It has gotten 6 kills already. Not going to do very well against the Queen, as the Queen is able to take that down, as we now see the Mothership Core come in. Void Ray now going to come in a bit of an engagement, and the Void Ray can, in fact, take down many of these Roaches. The Roaches are all simply going to fall here. The Prismatic Alignment, for some reason, not engaging on that Void Ray, as you can see that the Void Ray is just focusing down unit after unit. Roaches are going to try to push their way through, and now the Phoenixes are here to Graviton Beam. AK going to lose a lot in this engagement. The Photon Overcharge on the Nexus actually helping out as well, as we now see Burrow. Oh, a huge, huge play here. Burrow being brought in, as AK will be forced to play Whack-A-Mole, as lower hit point Roaches are burrowing themselves. Let's take a look. Stalker now taken down here. The Roaches are now going after some units. Are we going to see some more burrowing next? We can see double Void Rays. An Observer now needs to be added. What is going on? The Photon Overcharge will be ending in just a moment, as the Roaches are just spread out all across this map. Are we going to see the Roaches now push their way through again? Yes, we are. Observers are arriving to the party. Prismatic Alignment now coming in. yoeIMHas doing a great job clearing off the rest of these Roaches here, as there are still a handful of Roaches left. All right, Void Ray gonna go ahead and shoot down that last Roach. And Observer now making its rounds. Doesn't spot this one Roach burrowed here, as more units are now coming in on the front door. This 3-base Roach push is just exactly that, pressuring very heavily, and Burrow adding in another surprise element. The Void Rays, you would normally think, are very strong at dealing with these Roaches, but the Roaches do have that Glio Reconstitution, making them move faster than the Void Rays can chase. Void Rays now finally going to start focusing down some of these Roaches, but a lot of mining time has been lost, and this has just been a heavy hit. Harvester count is 50 to 59, but the income tab should be completely different. Yes, a lot of probes not mining inside the main, nothing mining over here at the third, so it is really just 1 base to 3 at this point. Let's take a look at the army. Armies are pretty even. It's just that has no way of dealing with the number of roaches that we see. Void Rays have finally jumped out onto the field. We are going into the groove spines and level 2 missile upgrades. The roaches may decide to pop up here and try and take down a couple of probes as the observers are going to be coming in. No, it is now going to be an engagement over here at the third base. The third base is going to fall as the roaches are trying to clean up the rest of these, or sorry, the Void Rays are trying to clean up the rest of the roaches off over here. It looks like they will all get cleaned up, but not before this Nexus falls as well. Has losing a lot in this engagement. You can see overall AK has lost more, but then he has had a superior economy for quite some time, still sitting on about an 800 resource advantage per minute. Phoenix is now looking to come in. You can see Hydralisks are being hatched. Will the Phoenixes be able to do anything? No, they will not, as the hatchery, the macro hatch inside the base here, and AK is now just sitting in a great situation. He knows what he needs to do. He knows that he just needs to sit up on these 3 bases, deny a third base for Has, and he can take this game. Zerglings now making their way out across the field. Give me one moment. All right, full-time dad. Anyways, let's come back around. Zerglings are going to be coming off over together here, and there we have it. Once more, Has trying to clean up this base here. The Overlord should have been spewing creep much earlier. And what is this? We could have Zerglings and Roaches now trying to run inside again. Has really gone to Void Rays consistently in the previous games, and the previous game has really helped him out and just pulling up ahead. Let's take a look at the income. Income is still much higher for AK at this point, and the army is also about even. The army is even if you consider the amount of minerals composed of in each army, but we are going to get a Spire here in just a moment. I thought there was a Spire down earlier. No, that was I guess it was canceled. A Spire in order to perhaps get some Corruptors. The Corruptors would be the key to canceling out the Void Rays and the Colossus. Now, this is a rather strange situation for Has. Has does need to get these Colossus, but he also knows that if his opponent is going for Corruptors, it not only does it counter or at least deal with the Void Rays, it also deals with the Colossus. It also deals with the Void Rays. All right, here we go. Roach is now trying to engage, coming in from the far side as well. The Hydralisks are not able to really take down those Void Rays. Actually, I spoke too soon. It looks as though they are trading extremely well, as the Hydralisks are all just absolutely getting destroyed here. One Colossus down to 1 hit point, moves back ever so barely, and does survive. Huge play there, as now AK is looking to take up his 4th base while his opponent is establishing up his 3rd. That is the necessary play that we're seeing. The Roaches are now making their way over as well. Roaches and Hydralisks now coming in. 3 bases to it will be 4 bases to 3. The Corruptors are coming in together. Level 1 weapons upgrade now coming online for the Protoss, as we are also getting a fair number of Roaches. Here we go. Roaches, Hydralisks now making their way in. Void Rays now backing off. Colossus, Stalkers, Sentries trying to give a little bit of a chase. Will be able to shoot them off there, as the Protoss army is... Wow, for a second it was actually much larger. Now it is smaller. A large round of Roaches must have just hatched or something like that, as AK now about to finish this expansion at the 9 o'clock location. It will be 4 bases to 3, exactly what you would expect at this point, as we are now looking to see how things will level out. Roaches, lots of them, and we are sitting near maximum supply at the 18-minute mark. This is exactly what I thought would happen. The Corruptors are going to engage here, take down a couple of the Colossus and some of the other units as well. There is Corruption. The Void Rays now backing off here. The Corruptors do actually move faster than those Void Rays, making them a fairly decent counter. And all you have to do is you need to make sure that you engage while the Prismatic alignment is off. If the Prismatic alignment is off, the Corruptors win. If the Prismatic alignment is on, the Void Rays win. The Corruptors, however, do need to get off that Corruption on those Void Rays to really come out ahead. Roach is now trying to come in here for the chase. There's a beautiful Time Warp, slowing things down a bit as I lose control of my camera. The Void Rays could go after the Mothership Core. Yeah, the Mothership Core taken down in a moment's notice as all the units are now backing off again. Now, a couple of those Zealots are going to be making their way through. I don't see any sort of hive tech coming in, no Ultralisk or anything of that sort. Ultralisk would be extremely helpful at this point, as the Corruptors are now looking to make their way in here. 14 Corruptors in the air. Are we going to see a bit of an engagement? Yes, we are. There we go. There's the engagement on attacking from both sides. A beautiful flank, but there's force fields down on both sides. Corruptors going after all of the necessary air units. There goes the Void Rays. There goes a Colossus and more Void Rays as well. AK actually going to look to win this fight there. All of the Void Rays and Corruptors lost. All the Void Rays and Corruptors lost in a moment, as that last Void Ray will get shot down. New Void Ray comes out only to see an army of Corruptors being brought forth. You can now see that the Hydralisks and Roaches are trying to push their way through. Reinforcements are coming in. It's a 190 versus 87 supply, and I believe this is the tipping point. AK has broken through the lines, and with a new round of reinforcements should come out ahead. Level 1 flyer attack about to be completed. You can see Stalkers and Zealots now pushing their way in, and normally I would say that Zerg is in a little bit of a dangerous situation because they have so much invested in Corruptors, but because there was Void Rays and Colossus to deal with, it actually worked out for him. In many games you see, when you have a lot of Corruptors, the Corruptors become useless once all the Colossus are gone. The Corruptors were actually focusing down the Void Rays and the Colossus, the two main staples of that army, and once they were gone, the Roaches and the Hydralisks were more of a cleanup crew than anything else. Also, with the number of production buildings that yoeIMHas had that trained Void Rays and Colossus, there wasn't anything else that he could do with these Stargates that wouldn't be instantaneously destroyed. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this best of 5 series. AK winning with a final score of 3-2.